Alec Baldwin could face prison time in fatal Rust shooting, but experts say evidence may be problematic. Rust star Alec Baldwin originally faced charges of involuntary manslaughter, but prosecutors dropped them in April. If Alec Baldwin is charged again with involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, he could once again face prison time. Hutchins died October 21, 2021, after a gun the actor was holding fired on the set of Rust. Special prosecutor Carrie Morrissey told Fox News Digital Wednesday new charges against Baldwin are being considered, but a final decision has yet to be made after new evidence surfaced in the case. However, legal experts believe the move is unlikely. You can't bring charges again unless you know that you're going to win. Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani told Fox News Digital new charges against Baldwin are being considered after experts, commissioned by the special prosecution, concluded Baldwin had to have pulled the trigger for the gun to fire. Although Alec Baldwin repeatedly denies pulling the trigger, given the test, findings, and observations reported here, the trigger had to be pulled or depressed sufficiently to release the fully cocked or retracted hammer of the evidence revolver. The report, obtained by Fox News Digital, states, this fatal incident was the consequence of the hammer being manually retracted to its fully rearward and cocked position followed, at some point, by the pull or rearward depression of the trigger. Rahmani pointed out that the new report doesn't necessarily contain new information. The district attorney's office has always said Baldwin had to have pulled the trigger, confirmed by an FBI ballistics report released in August 2022. The FBI performed an accidental discharge test and found that the gun used in the fatal shooting of Hutchins could not be made to fire without a pull of the trigger, according to the report obtained by ABC News. The test showed that if the revolver's hammer was in the quarter or half-cocked positions, the gun would not fire. When the hammer was in the fully cocked position, the gun could not be made to fire without a pull of the trigger, while the working internal components were intact and functional. I just don't think any of this is really new information, and this case was already such a black eye for the prosecution. Rahmani explained, for them to wade back into this, I would be surprised. Prosecutors dismissed involuntary manslaughter charges against Baldwin in April, but noted in a June 9 filing they would refile if it was found the revolver hadn't been modified. While the new experts found that the gun wasn't modified, the gun, which had been damaged by the FBI during the original testing, had to be reconstructed to conduct the new test. A legal expert told Fox News Digital that tinkering with evidence leads to problems. This expert's report does bolster the prosecution's case a bit, but it is problematic that he had to reconstruct the gun with new parts. Personal injury lawyer Miguel Custodio, a partner at Custodio and Doobie, said, once you start tinkering with evidence like that, it's easy for Alec Baldwin's defense to say, the gun didn't work properly to begin with, and the FBI damaged it. Putting it back together again doesn't prove anything. And it's true. Whenever you alter evidence, you have problems. I just don't think it's enough to recharge Baldwin yet. I also have wondered why the special prosecutors put pressure on themselves earlier this year that they would make a decision by mid-August on whether to file charges against Baldwin. Clearly, they were waiting for this report. It seems they have really struggled with strategically trying to charge him, and I think this report is flimsy evidence to recharge him on, Custodio explained. Kate Mangels, partner at Kinsella Hawley Iser Compt, Steinseper LLP, KHHIKS, emphasized that the validity of the evidence could easily be called into question due to the reconstruction of the gun. Defense attorneys would argue that a test on a reconstructed gun with new parts cannot be proof of what occurred with the original gun, she told Fox News Digital. The new report doesn't take away from Baldwin's original potential defense, according to Mangels. Even if the evidence from the new report is valid and compelling, the prosecution still faces significant hurdles in obtaining a conviction as to Baldwin. Mangels noted, regardless of whether there is proof he pulled the trigger, Baldwin will still be able to maintain a defense that he had no reason to know the gun was loaded and that he did not act recklessly in pulling the trigger. If Baldwin is charged again, he'll face up to 18 months in prison for involuntary manslaughter. However, special prosecutors could also choose to charge him with something different.